Coming up on the Rockbridge Report, Campus Kitchen's backpack program and how they're coping with increased demand.
The most direct impact is the rising food costs.
After that, musical chairs continues for downtown storefronts in Lexington. Hear the latest news on Season's Yield and Appalachian Sage.
Then, Washington and Lee's growing presence downtown. The City Council considers the latest expansion.
Next, President Donald Trump's plans to close the Department of Education, leading to protests.
And later in the newscast, the difference between a winning season and a total domination at SVU volleyball.
All that and more coming up on the Rockbridge Report.
More to my left or my right?
Live from the campus of Washington and Lee University with news from Rockbridge County, this is the Rockbridge Report.
Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Devin Bateman.
And I'm Katie Eubanks. Lexington businesses continue to play musical chairs with downtown storefronts. The downtown coffee shortage has been temporarily solved. The owners of Season's Yield Cafe have purchased the former Appalachian Sage acai shop. Appalachian Sage will reopen as Wildberry Market on April 1st. Season's Yield will be moving out of its current location at Haywood's Restaurant on April 19th, but it will serve coffee and baked goods at the new Wildberry Market starting on April 22nd until its permanent home on Main Street opens later this year. To learn more about the cafe's changes, read Emily Scaff's story at rockbridgereport.wlu.edu. President Donald Trump signed an executive order today to begin dismantling the U.S. Department of Education. The department sends billions of dollars a year to schools. Here in Lexington, Education Services is the largest employer, according to Data USA, but it is not clear if any local jobs would be affected. In Michigan, some are taking action. Protesters marched outside an elementary school in protest of the cuts. Jordan Burrows has the story.
Before the kids walked into school today, a quick demonstration was held outside Cromie Elementary.
It could have far impacting consequences on our classrooms.
Educators, faculty members, and parents voiced their opinion on what's being done to the U.S. Department of Education.
It only hurts the most vulnerable, our children.
Led locally by the Warren Education Association President Bob Callender, he said the impact could be detrimental to the school district.
We're locked with the revenues we receive, so if we don't receive those revenues, we can't provide the services that our community deserves.
Callender added the school could lose up to $15 million, which would result in 150 to 200 fewer teachers and staff.
I think too often at the state and federal level when we're passing legislation, we don't really know the true impact of that legislation because we're not asking the teachers and educators in the trenches how that will impact them.
The principal of Cromie said he wanted to show parents he is willing to stand up for what he believes is right.
Educational opportunity is not government waste. It's something that is very central to what makes America great. And it's what drives these people here every single day. And we just wanted to stand up in support of that.
The Department of Homeland Security has detained a postdoctoral fellow at Georgetown University. Badar Konsori is a citizen of India and is in America on a visa studying peace building in Iraq and Afghanistan. The university says it is not aware of him engaging in any illegal activities. DHS says he was actively spreading Hamas propaganda and spreading anti-Semitism on social media. Officials there also claim he has connections to a senior Hamas advisor. Suri's wife is a Palestinian American. He was arrested at his Virginia home Monday and is currently in Louisiana awaiting a hearing on immigration court. This comes after Columbia University graduate and Palestinian activist Mahmoud Khalil was arrested earlier this month. Both men could face deportation.
The Palestinian Ministry of Health says Israeli strikes have killed at least 85 people and injured 133 across Gaza. The ministry added that rescue operations are underway as many are still trapped under the rubble. Israel pounded Gaza overnight, killing dozens of Palestinians a day after launching a fresh ground campaign as part of its renewed assault on the territory that shattered the 2-month-old ceasefire with Hamas. Israel blames the new fighting on Hamas for refusing to accept revised ceasefire terms. Hamas, in turn, has accused Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of unilaterally unpending the truce and putting hostages, quote, at risk of an unknown fate. Since Israel resumed its strikes on Gaza on Tuesday, over 500 people were killed, over 60% of which were women and children, according to the Palestinian Health Ministry.
Washington and Lee University's Campus Kitchen helps run a project where volunteers prepare and deliver brown bag meals to students in need. The program has seen an increase in demand this year. The Rockbridge Report's Emmy Amison tells us more.
Campus Kitchen is a nonprofit that works to address food insecurity and waste in Lexington and Rockbridge County. One of its initiatives, the Backpack Program, works to help students who might not have access to meals over the weekend. Volunteers pack bags with non-perishable items and deliver them to schools on Thursdays so the students can take them home for Saturday and Sunday.
Aims to address the meal gap that students on free and reduced lunch programs experience over weekends when they don't have access to the same breakfast, lunch, and snack that they do during the school week.
This year, volunteers have had to respond to a higher demand of meals. The program is packing around 875 to 900 meals weekly, which is a 15% increase from years past. They also have paired with their 16th school, Enderley Heights Elementary School.
The most direct impact is the rising food costs and the more strained household budgets that we're seeing across the board.
Since 2009, the community has had a wide variety of volunteers, from students who are weekly participants to other groups from Washington and Lee and across the area.
We let student organizations and also community organizations reserve a time to come and volunteer with their group.
The Backpack Program takes up a majority of the group's budget. Many fundraisers throughout the year, including the Super Bowl and cookie sales, bring in money. The Super Bowl alone produces around a third of the needed budget.
We purchase all of the food that gets distributed through the Backpack Program, and so the increase in backpack counts on a weekly basis, plus the rising food costs that we've been seeing, has meant that we've really had to figure out how to fund this program in a sustainable way.
With the 15% increase, the kitchen is going to need more funding. With the Rockbridge Report, I'm Emmy Amison.
The Lexington Police Department will host a community walk on Monday, March 24th on Houston Street. Officers will start on the intersection of Spotswood Drive and Taylor Street and walk down the 100 block of Houston Street. Police say the walk is a part of their geographical policing efforts. A local resident who was present during a similar walk last month says the police knocked on her door, introduced themselves, and asked some questions.
Coming up on the Rockbridge Report, learn more about CARE Rockbridge's Reading in Color program and its budget cuts.
And then an American man comes home from Afghanistan.
And right when we come back, hear how Buena Vista is planning to deal with the deteriorating middle school.
Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report.
Lexington City Council is scheduled to vote tonight on a zoning request for Washington and Lee University to use the Grand Building's basement. The Rockbridge Report's Jordan Hoover is live outside a joint City Council and school board meeting. Jordan, what can you tell us about the zoning request?
Thanks, Devin. The zoning application raises concerns over what some are calling institutional creep in the community. A similar request in October was in a split decision, and it was approved by the mayor's deciding vote. Since then, the City Council has met several times to discuss zoning guidelines. However, the city manager raises concerns and anticipates a split vote, citing concerns over public service, parking, and economic impact. The City Council will meet in about 2 hours to vote on the request. Reporting live from the Rockbridge Report, I am Jordan Hoover. Back to you in the studio, Devin.
To learn more, read Jordan's story at rockbridgereport.wlu.edu.
Buena Vista's school board and city council are looking into the cost of consolidating 3 schools into a single pre-K through 7th grade facility. Perry McClure Middle School is 100 years old. Instead of renovating the middle school, a recent study found that building a new school could be more cost-effective in the long term. Estimates put the cost between $45 million and $67 million. City officials warn that funding the project could mean doubling property taxes. To learn more about the proposed school, read John Little's story at rockbridgereport.wlu.edu.
A local program focused on providing books with diverse protagonists is having a change to its programming due to budget cuts. Erica Kinney explores whether a lack of funds has affected the organization's mission.
Is a program hosted by CARE Rockbridge. Its mission is to make sure children see themselves represented in the books they read.
It seems like the kids are enjoying what they're reading. They're relating to the protagonists that they're seeing.
In previous years, Reading in Color donated books with diverse characters to local elementary schools. However, it can't afford to donate books this year.
This year we have, we're so grateful for the funds, but we have less money than normal, so we can't actually buy books for the local schools anymore.
Kimberly Troyce, the principal of Waddell Elementary School, says teachers appreciated having new books and students loved reading them. Reading in Color receives funding from the Community Foundation for Rockbridge, Bath, and Allegheny County. Lori Turner, the foundation's executive director, says it funded more than 90 community organizations last year. Chin says that previously, Reading in Color has gotten about $1,000, but this year the program has only received $450. That is a 55% decrease.
Instead, this year we are trying to think of other creative ways to think of how to bring outreach.
One of these ways has been in-person events. On Saturday, March 15th, Reading in Color held an event at Rockbridge Regional Library in Lexington. They read children a book about the 2016 Women's March and guided them through activities. After reading about the Women's March, children made signs symbolizing what they would march for. Organizers encouraged parents to bring their kids to CARE's Love Lives On event. It is going to be held at Richardson Park on April 4th, the anniversary of Martin Luther King Jr.'s death. Love Lives On comes after CARE's annual Martin Luther King Jr. Day Parade was canceled this year due to icy conditions. For now, Reading in Color is searching for other sources of funding.
We actually wouldn't be able to do this without the funding from our W&L chapter of CARE.
Reading in Color plans to hold another reading event from 11 to noon on April 12th at Rockbridge Regional Library. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Erica Kenny.
An environmental nonprofit group is raising concerns that toxic substances known as forever chemicals may pose a risk to agriculture and public health in Rockbridge County. Rockbridge Conservation says these chemicals can enter the soil through treated sewage and sludge, impacting crops and livestock. The Virginia Environmental Protection Agency says the chemicals have been linked to serious health issues such as cancer, liver damage, and developmental problems. To learn more about the potential impacts, read Carmen Bunker's story at rockbridgereport.wlu.edu.
An American detained in Afghanistan for more than 2 years was released and is on his way to the U.S. 66-year-old Delta Airlines mechanic George Glesman was released after weeks of negotiation led by Qatari and U.S. mediators. A source said a breakthrough was made by the Qatar during a recent meeting with the Taliban. A U.S. official said no one was released for the exchange of Glesman. The Taliban detained him in December 2022, and Glesman has traveled to Afghanistan as a tourist, and it was for a 5-day trip.
Coming up on the Rockbridge Report, hear about SVU's volleyball's reign of terror.
Good evening, I'm Paige Jackson. The weather this week gave Virginians whiplash, and we can't help but wonder what this weekend will bring. Find out next on the Rockbridge Report.
Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report.
I don't know about you guys, but I've definitely enjoyed seeing all the flowers walking to class the past few days.
Oh yeah, me too, Katie. Paige, does this mean the seasons are finally changing?
It does. Winter's grip has finally loosened, and longer, sunnier days are on the way. Today is the first day of spring. The first official day of the season represents the vernal equinox in the northern hemisphere. That's when the sun aligns with Earth's equator. While some regions may still see a late season chill, the promise of blooming gardens, outdoor adventures, and patio season is finally here. You can celebrate the day with a picnic, a stroll through the park, or just crack open a window and enjoy some fresh air. Now, taking a look at our live shot in downtown Lexington, we can see that it is a bit cloudy and our current conditions reflect that. We can see that the high is 66 with a low of 33, and the barometric pressure is currently 29.59. The wind speed right now is 21 miles per hour, but tonight and to tomorrow we actually have a wind advisory because it will be up to 30 miles per hour this evening. The humidity is currently 45%. Moving on to our radar, we can see a storm is moving up east. It already went through our area and we had a bit of a shower earlier this morning, but we didn't get anything too serious. It might build as it heads its way up to the northeast. Moving on to our regional conditions, we've got clouds pretty much everywhere today. Over in Charlottesville, it is 71, which is a bit warmer than the rest of us. In Stanton, it's 66, and in Lexington and Buena Vista, it's 65. Down in Lynchburg, it is nice and 70. Over in Covington, it is 46 and cloudy, and in Roanoke, it is 65, and they might be experiencing some showers right now. Now on to our 5-day forecast. Tomorrow it will be 59 and sunny, which is great, with a low of 36. Saturday also sunny. As of right now, it's clearing up. and it will be 65 with a low of 35. On Sunday, it will be partially cloudy, which builds into what we have going on Monday. It'll be 63 with a low of 49, and on Monday, we will be getting that rain to start off the week with a high of 67 and a low of 37. On Tuesday, the sun comes back just a little bit with a high of 58 and a low of 37. Back to you, Devin and Katie.
Coming up on the Rockbridge Report, how some in Philadelphia are able to drink and knit at the same time.
And then, WNL's men's lacrosse winning streak. All that and more coming up next.
Welcome back to the Rockbridge Report.
Katie, there's a lot of big news going on in the basketball world.
Oh yeah, there's been a lot going on, and I don't know about you guys, but my March Madness bracket has not been looking too hot. Shay, can you give us some of those basketball updates?
Yes, Katie, with March Madness underway and a historic NBA deal in the works, it is a big day in the sports world. The Boston Celtics are entering a new era, and it won't come cheap. An investor group led by William Chisholm is buying the NBA team for $6.1 billion. The deal still has to be approved by the NBA's Board of Governors, but if it does pass, it will be the highest amount ever spent on a sports franchise in North America. This sale would give Boston its first new owner in more than 20 years. For college basketball fans, today is the best day of the year. It's the first day of March Madness. Here in Lexington, the basketball madness continues. Mary Sliessner was named Region 6 Player of the Year and a WBCA First Team All-American, both for the second consecutive season. The Washington and Lee men's lacrosse team dominated the field this past weekend, defeating two top-ranked teams in the Mustang Classic. Senior Hillis Burns became the 8th general to reach 200 career points. The Generals continued to dominate with a 19-7 win over Shenandoah University. The Rockbridge Report's Mackenzie Kane caught up with Burns after the win.
Good evening, Rockbridge. I'm here at Washington and Lee's Wilson Field, where the Generals men's lacrosse team just earned their first ODAC victory of the season against Shenandoah University. And joining me here on field is senior attacker Hillis Burns. Now, Hillis, last week in Maryland, you guys walked away with 2 big wins, but that wasn't the only victory. You are now one of 8 Generals to ever enter the 200 points club. How's it feel?
You know what? The biggest takeaway from the weekend were those 2 wins. The Mustang Classic was something that we had circled on our calendar for, a year now, especially coming out of that with, those 2 wins over top opponents. Just thrilled for the team and ready to get back to work this week.
Now, we've sort of reached the point in the schedule where it's a lot of in-conference matchups from this point out. How does that affect the mindset?
The mindset doesn't change. Every day we show up at practice, ready to get better. Just trying to be a better team each day, day in and day out. I think games like today are a great opportunity for some of the younger guys to really get good experience and really build up their toolkit, for when we need them. And I think they did just that today.
Yeah, well, what did you see out of the younger guys? What are some of the takeaways?
I saw a lot of confidence, unselfish play, and I really was impressed with how the shooting improved. That's been something we've been really working on, and the guys out there on the field today did a great job.
Well, Hillis, thank you for your time. Best of luck this season. And signing off with the Rockbridge Report, I'm Mackenzie Kane.
Women's lacrosse also had a successful night. The Generals, ranked number 11, defeated number 18 Roanoke College 13-8 last night. Southern Virginia University's men's volleyball team is still yet to drop a set. Let me repeat that. They haven't lost a set, which means they haven't lost a match all season. The team took down Elizabethtown College 3-0 on Saturday.
Consistency, it's the players themselves. We recruit good people, good athletes, good volleyball players, and if I don't mess it up, I think we do pretty good. We're on a trajectory to get better and better, and that's what I like.
I'm just excited for another fight. I want to get challenged. We need to be a little scared to grow a little bit,
It's an honor. But it's also scary because we have a target on our back. Every team's going to play the best against us, and we just have to play better than everybody else.
The Knights will look to continue the winning streak tomorrow against Keene University. Junior Dalton Jobe reset a program record yesterday on the first day of the 2025 NCAA Division III Swimming and Diving National Championships. He was the only general to compete in the 200 individual medley. 4 others from the men's swim team competed in the 400 medley relay. The 4 finished in 18th place and missed qualification for the finals by just 2 spots. The Washington and Lee equestrian team finished in 4th place at the ODAC Championships yesterday. First-year Eva Loon earned all ODAC honors with a 4th place individual finish. Coming with that warmer weather, track and field is officially moving outside. Washington and Lee men's and women's teams will kick off their outdoor season this weekend as the Generals host the W&L Carnival. More in March Madness, freshman Duke star Cooper Flagg is good to go after spraining his left ankle last week. The top-seeded Blue Devils said Flagg will be in action for Friday's first-round game against Mount St. Mary's.
There's a group of ladies in Philadelphia who keep themselves in stitches, literally and figuratively. They're the drunken nitwits who create stuff out of yarn while having a drink or two. Carrie Corrado reports.
They're known as the Philadelphia Drunken Nitwits. Sip by sip, stitch by stitch, the group socializes, grabs some cocktails and food, and knits together, a little tipsy, once a week. They say they are knitaholics.
We like to be very open about knitting in public.
The Drunken Nitwits are known throughout the world. It started in Oxford in the UK in 2012. There's chapters in Australia, Madrid, Dublin, to name a few. Head nitwit in the city, Allison Covey, says she brought the idea to Philly, and they have been meeting since 2017. Tonight's stop was Lucha Cartel in Old City, and it's all about having fun.
Most of us are a little bit younger than some of the knitting groups that meet, and we're just looking for other people who also want to get together and knit and just talk about jobs and life and crafting.
I've had to learn how to actively drink and knit at the same time. I'm not used to doing that, but it took a while.
The Drunken Nitwits say the best part is getting everyone together. They say it's a sense of community and friendship.
I work as a nanny, and so my closest friend was like 9 months old, and I wanted to find more friends in the area. It's been so fun. I'm obsessed with this group. I tell everybody about it.
When we come together, it's so much more than just knit and crochet. It's really about the community and camaraderie. It's extremely localized.
And it doesn't stop there. The group also does yarn bombing, which means they put yarn art throughout the city. They've hit multiple areas with permission, like the Singing Fountain on Passyunk Avenue, Cherry Street Pier, and Fittler Square.
Whatever seems to need a little cheer.
They hope their artwork and public knitting inspires others to join in on the craft.
It's really fun. I enjoy watching people take pictures of it.
That's all for the Rockbridge Report. Thanks for watching.
For more local and national news, check out our website, rockbridgereport.wlu.edu, and join us next Thursday for another half-hour edition of the Rockbridge Report.